What is going on, everyone? It is me, Lone Bot Wanderer, here with my thoughts on Bethesda's E3 press conference. I've thought about this for a day. I've let the press conference kind of simmer in my memories. And also as well, I've looked at everyone else's press conferences. Nintendo hasn't happened yet, but you had Ubi, Xbox, Sony, EA, etc. Ubisoft just fucking killed it. Can I say that right at the start there? Ubisoft killed it. Sony had a good showing as well, probably not as good as last year. I think Xbox did pretty well. They showed a lot of new games there. But I've looked at all of those, and overall, when looking at Bethesda's conference, I'll get into the specifics in a minute, but overall, the conference lacked content. I think it did. More so specifically, it lacked new content and new games. I mean, we got The Evil Within, we got Wolfenstein. That's great, but I think overall, to justify a conference, to have a conference in the first place, I feel like it probably needed one, but probably two new games, new showings of some sort, and I would have liked one of those games to have been a brand new IP that we haven't seen before. People were saying we're going to get Starfield, but I've tweeted along about this. We were never getting Starfield this year, but I was hoping that Bethesda was working with another developer. Who knows, who it could be, but I was hoping that we would get something actually brand new that we've never seen before, because the press conference that just took place yesterday, it was a lot of content that we've already seen. Again, excluding what we saw with Dishonored, but we've kind of seen Dishonored anyways, and then Evil Within and Wolfenstein. But aside from that, it was all kind of content we pretty much knew about. So overall, it really wasn't my favorite conference. It was lacking in content. I would have really liked to have seen something more to justify an entire conference. And also as well, I'll get into the specifics. A lot of the stuff shown just isn't relevant for me personally, which is even more of a letdown. So I'll start off with Fallout 4 VR and Doom VR. Now, this is nothing against Fallout 4 VR or Doom VR. I just don't really care about VR. I mean, right now in Australia, VR is so cost prohibitive that it's just not worth it. I mean, if you want to play VR on a PC, you have to build a new PC, if you don't have one, mind you. I do. But then the headsets themselves are very expensive. Like, if I want to get a Vive, it's over $1,000. Like, over $1,000 to play VR. And then if I want to get a PlayStation VR, I need to buy the console itself as well. But I don't even know whether Fallout 4 VR or Doom VR is coming to PlayStation. Obviously, Skyrim VR, which was just revealed at Sony's press conference, will come to PlayStation, but I don't know if these games are. I assume that they are, but in any event, I don't own the console. So VR in general is just not relevant for me personally, because it's so expensive. So Fallout 4 VR and Doom VR, while they look cool, to be honest, looking at them, that actually looked cool, they're just not relevant for me, so I can't really get excited about it. Next thing is Creation Club. Now, Creation Club, controversies aside, I don't mod Bethesda games anymore. Like, I've moved on from playing Fallout and Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. I just play other games, because right now I have this huge backlog, and if you watch my Twitch streams, I'm always trying to play something new. So I just finished Wolfenstein, I just finished Outlast, Soma. There's so many new games that I've played this year, and I'm so glad that I've done that. And there's so many more new games that I want to play, for instance, Shadow of Mordor, to get prepared for Shadow of War. But I don't mod Bethesda games anymore. So Creation Club is something that isn't relevant for me again. So Fallout 4 and Doom VR and now Creation Club, both personally aren't relevant for me. They might be relevant for you, but it's just not the case for me. Now here is something that I actually am excited about as a Switch owner. Elder Scrolls Skyrim on the Switch. The Switch really needs new games. It needs new content. I mean, I had a big trip last week, and I was looking for, a single player game to play on the Switch, and a new one that I hadn't played before. And I kind of struggled. I was like, well, I have Street Fighter, and I have Mario Kart that I just pretty much finished anyways, and I've played Breath of the Wild for 80 hours, even though I haven't finished it. I'll get to that eventually. I love that game, mind you. So Skyrim on the Switch does sound like a lot of fun, and I'm someone that hasn't played much Skyrim, so it's probably a good opportunity for me to play it, while commuting to work every day. So that's something that I actually am pretty excited about. But, I can see why other people aren't excited about it, because Skyrim is an old game. Now we've got it in Skyrim VR, and we've got it in other versions of Skyrim. I really do hope that this Skyrim money is being used to reinvest into new IPs, because I think Bethesda actually needs, again, as I said before, new IPs at their press conferences, and especially next year's, to kind of make up for what happened this year. Dishonored gets a new standalone expansion. Initially, when I was watching this, I thought that this was a Dishonored 2 DLC. But no, it's kind of like Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. It is a separate standalone expansion, which is pretty cool. But again, this is something that I didn't get overly excited about, because we've already seen Dishonored. It was clear this was based on the Dishonored 2 engine, that's why they were able to produce it relatively fast, and I never finished Dishonored 2 because I had a lot of frame rate issues with that game, a lot of issues on the PC. So maybe when I finish Dishonored 2, I'll get more excited for this, and it looks cool, but it's still not for me right now anyways. Now the Evil Within 2, even though I haven't played the original Evil Within and it's on my list of to do, I have such a big fucking gaming backlog. This trailer was creepy as fuck and it looked really cool. So eventually I'm probably going to play Evil Within 1 just to play this. But again, for me personally, because I haven't played the original, I was like, oh cool, new Evil Within 2. We probably already knew that. But is it at this point relevant for me? No, not really. And then we had Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which this is actually my highlight, and I think it's many people's highlights of Bethesda's conference, because I just recently finished Wolfenstein 1 to get ready for this, and god, that makes the reveal so much better. You know, when you've actually played the game, and this is why I wasn't really excited for the Dishonored expansion and Evil Within 2. But when you play the actual original game, and you see the reveal, and you understand, who the characters are, fuck, William is back, I won't spoil that much. But it's just more impactful. So I really liked Wolfenstein 2. It looks as gory and fun as ever. The story is really intriguing. It's kind of this coup back against the Nazis. Pretty much like, you know, the last Wolfenstein was really. But it seems like it'll be a fun time to play. And then there were other things. Elder Scrolls Legends. I should have mentioned this before, but Elder Scrolls Legends, I'm not really into card games, to be honest. It's kind of like Hearthstone. I know that it's cool. I know that people see an appeal with those kinds of card games. But, nah, you know, not really for me. Also as well, there was Elder Scrolls Online stuff. Again, not really for me. There was Quake Champion stuff, which does look cool, and it gets a World Championships in August at QuakeCon. But the press conference focused on the esports side of things, and esports isn't really relevant for me. Quake is definitely looking really, really cool, though, and I'm probably going to play that. I'm actually someone that enjoyed Doom multiplayer. I know not many people liked it, but Quake Champions looks fun. But again, it was another game that we've already seen. Overall, in terms of like brand new releases, there wasn't much at all during Bethesda's press conference. So my one hope is that, you know, use the Skyrim money, use whatever money that you have, Bethesda, and reinvest into brand new IPs and multiple IPs, because I think this year there was at least space for another 2 big reveals, to be honest. Especially when you look at Ubisoft and Sony and Xbox as well, and how well they did and how much new stuff that they showed. In comparison, Bethesda's press conference, it's a big difference, right? So I hope that behind the scenes that Bethesda is actually doing that and we get something a little bit more next year. I do think next year, mind you though, that we will get a Starfield reveal, so that will definitely help things. But this year, unfortunately, it was light on. So those are my overall thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Bethesda's press conference. Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.